Sigríomh, agus cé mé le fáilte. Is mé Siadróin, and Will Tugama. How are you guys? It's your friend the Wren, back again. I wanted to have a quick chat about some of the problems that I see that are in Sinnsreachd. Sinnsreachd is a form of Gaelic polytheistic tribalism. And I get a lot of questions, both here on YouTube, in real life, about what it's all about. Now, I have a wonderful blog post about this, and it's actually not a blog post. It's posted on my blog. It's the actual Sinnsreachd website that used to be up. It's no longer current. There's some inherent problems within the system. Get a pipe together here. Got a Peterson I was smoking earlier, and gonna have something that I call this. It's a special reserve, I could say. So, Sinnsreachd is an ancestral way. It has folk customs and folk beliefs of the Gaelic people. I really don't want to get into defining Sinnsreachd. The link will be posted below on that. But I think one of the main problems people face with Sinnsreachd, because it's very different than CR, they come to it with the idea that Sinnsreachd is just a different branch. And it kind of is, and it's kind of not. Gaelic polytheistic tribalism. The tribalism is very important because it's what helped defines this movement, this type of organization, if you want to call it that. And a lot of people get confused with the word tribalism. What do you mean by tribalism? They think they romanticize, or they don't really apply it to something that they understand. And I'll try to get into that a little bit. Boy howdy, right off the bat, Latakia. When we think of the word tribal, a lot of people are prone to think about, something that they might associate with tribal. And they usually go to the Native American aspect of things. And it's really not like that. Our tribes were much different. Well, how so? Our tribes were different. Our culture was very different. Our social structure. If you read something like Kettle Lords and Clansmen, it's early Irish, medieval Irish, social politics in a way. The social structure of the people. That'll help define it a lot better. To make it very simple, and this is how I usually end up explaining this to people. Everybody wants to join a tribe. Oh, join a tribe. Start a tribe. It's not how it works. You're usually adopted into a tribe. And tribe, tuha, is a very large thing. So a lot of these people that think they're starting a tribe, or they belong to a tribe. Most likely it's not. There's different names for different types of households and family units. I've mentioned these before. Pubble, meaning people, congregation, community. Generally allows for many families to kind of congregate into a loose-knit type of working group. But this is a classic example. You have myself, my wife, and our 4 children in this house. And this is our household. You would incorporate, your parents, your grandparents, her parents, her grandparents, my brothers and sisters, her brothers and sisters, their children, any other grandchildren perhaps, and even going beyond that, her cousins, my cousins. And you put them together because we're married. And then you add the concept of we have these friends of our family, these people that are friends that are not just friends, these people that are our family. They're in a type of extended family. You have friends and then you have those really important friends that you would die for. Those people are your family as well, because there's adoption into the tribe. So think about that number. That's huge. That's big. It doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes it happens along the ways of, my household. And then you would say, well, some of her family, not all of them. Some of my family, not all of them. Or we focus on the people that are our closest friends, and they become part of our people, and they become your people. But that doesn't exclude people that live far away. The video I did about tribe and distance and traveling and whatnot talks about that more in depth. But ultimately, I think the main problem people face with Sinnsreachd is this concept of tribalism. Can I use an online source as my community? Well, sure, you can use them as online friends. Why not? A networking, but they're not your people. That's not your community, and that's not your congregation. It's not your bubble, and they're not your tribe. You didn't break bread with them, You're not going to drive 6 hours or 12 hours to actually help that person if you've never really met them. Interesting as well, you might have people that you consider part of your tribe that are not either as active as you would like them to be, or maybe that's not their path or their faith at all. And they don't really share ritual or rites with you because that's just not their thing. It doesn't make them not part of your tribe. I have friends that don't come for ritual, and that Sinnsreachd or Gaelic polytheism is not their personal path. It doesn't mean they're not my brothers. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't be there for them. They're a part of my family. So they're a part of my tribe, whether they want to be or not. And you know who you are. Sinnsreachd has a giant focus on family and the culture. And I've tried to ingrain that in a lot of my videos, that we're not a faith-based system. We're not a spiritual group. the culture is huge to us, and the spirituality and the customs of our ancestors and the traditions that are spiritual are every day. It's not just at ritual. The concept of being solitary isn't something that fits the tribal mindset. So if you really want to be active or involved in something like Sinnsreachd, being a solitary practitioner, you really can't say you're experiencing Sinnsreachd or you're a part of it, because you're not working with or celebrating with or helping a people. You would be celebrating some version of Celtic Reconstructionism that's a solitary path. So I'm specifically talking about the path of Sinnsreachd. Every now and then you get a match with no head on it. It's an omen. People come to Sinnsreachd because it's a form of Gaelic polytheism. And they have questions on, well, how do I build a tribe? You don't really build a tribe. It's a very organic process. And it either happens and starts to grow, or it doesn't really happen. Or it takes a long time to happen. You can't just reach out to your local Irish community center and put up flyers and, have some meet and greet and expect that you're going to start plug and play and just roll with it. It takes time to develop relationships with people and bonds, and for the group dynamic to be what it is. I wrote a wonderful blog about why you can't start a druid group. And many of the pitfalls of trying to. That's not really something I want to do a video on, because that could come across in a way that would create comments that I really don't want to get into answering, because I have to use my phone. So I will post that link as well, why you can't start a druid group. It's an interesting read, and I really hope that you like it. But tribalism, break it down very simple. Think of your family, your husband, your wife, your children. You don't have children? Okay, your pets. Think of your siblings. Think of your parents, your grandparents. Think about people that want to be active in the culture. All too often, it's the same story. I don't have anybody near me. No one celebrates that kind of stuff around me. It's a challenge. There has to be some sort of networking, perhaps. A good person to talk to about this concept of tribe would Robert Barton. I don't know how active he is on Facebook anymore. He does have his site called Cumhaltach na Gael. But, he's got some really interesting points on the concept of tribe. I would also encourage you to read his book, Rites of Driocht, Dance of Oak and Wren. That'll give you a deeper insight into the Sinnsreachd way with Gaelic polytheism. But don't make it bigger than it has to be when you're in your mind with tribe. Think of the family unit. Think of the household. Think of your closest friends. think of your closest friends and their families. Does your closest friend have a wife or a husband? Do they also have children? That's how it grows. It's pretty simple. It can be very difficult too. I'm sure I'm going to have more to say about this. Excuse me. I'm sure I'm going to have probably more to say on this at another time. And I'll probably do another Sinnsreachd video. If you scroll through my other videos in the past, I have done some Sinnsreachd chats. But the concept of tribe keeps coming up again and again. So I hope you take something from that. Wishing you all the best. Iowa. Snuggleful.